Alright guys, she's done.
Yeah, Aussie.
And Dan's.
Got a cool one, guys. We've got a 1978 Ford Bronco left-hand drive. These ones are really rare, guys. They only made them for like a 12-month window in 78, 79. Really rare, really hard to find, especially down here in Australia. You might have noticed we recently did a roller cam conversion on a black one of these. It was a 79. This one's a 78 that's come in for a full engine rebuild. So this is one of the first vehicles that we've done a full engine rebuild on and fitted it back in the car, pretty much the whole build, and supplied a few of the performance goodies to try and keep the costs down a little bit, which is never the case when you're doing work like this. But we've got a few things to talk about, guys. I've tried to take a few notes here. First off, we want to say, make sure you check out our other videos, guys. Every video's got a little bit of gold in it. Go back, watch everything. Check out the Clevo King channel too, if you are not aware. Now, the reason why this engine actually needed to be rebuilt, or why we suggested it be rebuilt instead of just swapping a cam, was it actually had a seized distributor. The most seized distributor ever. Before we pulled the engine out, I thought I want to have a go, and we put some stuff on it to soak and that, and no, it was so bad. When you get a really bad one, what you've got to do is get the engine out, put it on a stand, turn the engine around, put a socket with an extension on the bottom of the oil pump drive shaft, and literally beat the Dizzy out of the block. What can happen is sometimes if the Dizzy is stuck and it doesn't want to turn through the gear, it can chip a tooth off the cam, which didn't happen here. The cam was fine, but we're going to a roller cam anyway. But the Dizzy generally ends up a little bit worse for wear because you're pounding on that main shaft. It slips it out past the snap ring and completely destroys the Dizzy. And it's a worst case scenario, but it had to be done here. It was stuck, really badly stuck.
Seized Dizzies, this one was the most seized. It was like so in there. It was an absolute victory to get it out.
People forget to lube the base of the Dizzy and the O-ring there when they put them in. Maybe that one had never been out. It was a completely OG original thing. Anyway, so there was that. A little tip that we've got too, guys, when you're working on something like this that's oversized, they're not easy. It's an oversized vehicle, it's a truck. Look how high it is to Dan's chest. Then trying to look over into the engine, it's back braking. So we suggest getting a couple of pallets, 8 1.2 by 1.2 or 4 foot by 4 foot. You can put side by side, 4 high. You get a really good working platform that just sucks in onto the bumper. Obviously you got to be mindful when you turn around that you don't step off and break a leg, so use it at your own discretion, but we find the platform helps incredibly, especially on the lower back. You might see that stack of pallets there, guys. We'll show you what that's for later. Very handy to make a platform when you're at the tail end of putting the engine together. It comes quite high. Very high car here. Alright guys, have a bit of a look at this. Got a fully reconditioned C6 gearbox here with a deep chrome pan fitted with a drainage bung. Got the transfer case here all cleaned up. Just made a new gasket there for it. New flex blade. Restored exhaust manifolds. All the little bits for the transmission there. Overhauled converter. Check out the motor, guys. 351M, fully reconditioned. Hydraulic roller cam, HR 284. Hydraulic roller, should be pretty good. It's got some closed chamber heads that have been relieved. Stainless steel valves. Brand new valves. Real nice intake and exhaust. Heads have been machined all round, chambers relieved. Got the truck here. It's just come back from paint. So we're going to get stuck in. Heaps of cleaning to do after the paint there, but it's looking pretty good onto here. Let's rip in. Alrighty, let's get the notes out again. Let's have a bit of a look. So what we're going to do, we're going to try and work in a bit of a before and after. We took it for a test drive one day, but I didn't get any footage under the bonnet because it looked absolutely crap. But I have a couple of photos. I'll try and edit a photo into the video. Yeah, what we've done, not only the engine, we've done a roller cam upgrade. Now, there's a whole lot of good things that are to be found going to a roller cam. The old camshafts, flat tappet. There's a massive lifter failure rate at the moment. Even the best guys are getting caught out that are doing all the tricks, all the procedures, following everything to the T, doing the correct braking, and the lifters are still failing because they weren't hardened properly. So the best thing to do is to go roller. Roller is very expensive, it's a bit of an investment, but something we wanted to talk about is when you go to a performance flat tappet camshaft, you're generally running a double or a triple spring. No one really builds an engine and runs a standard cam anymore. Any sort of a camshaft above about 555, 565 lift is going to dictate it wants a double valve spring. A lot of guys come unstuck by going for the single spring option that Comp Cam suggests, which is like the 924-16 or the 926-16 spring. It's a generic crap spring with an inner dampener. They're shit. If the second suggestion ever dictates to go to a dual spring, which is a spring inside a spring, regardless of the dampener, then you actually need to do some modifications to the spring seats on the heads for that inner spring to sit. So the heads would have to come off. And a lot of guys that we're talking about doing camshaft swaps alone, our new thing is no cam swaps on an engine if the heads aren't coming off, so we can have a look at the valve seats and set up a few things properly. Has to be done. Secondly, the benefit of the roller cam, sure, it's a bit more of an investment in the pocket on the get-go, but you save money on not having to do a break-in, which is probably 3 or 4 hours of work and time. Sometimes if it gets a bit hot, you can't do it all at once. Very rarely do we get our 25 minutes or 30 minutes break-in in one hit. Sometimes the headers start glowing or they get hot because it's the most hardest thing an engine's ever going to do, sitting still with no air blowing through the radiator. We do it in stages. The other thing is, once you've broken it in, you've got to fit that inner spring. There's about 6 to 8 hours labour there. That, you know, we're pretty cheap, but say going off for basic mechanic rates, 140, 180 an hour. That 6 hours after you've broken the engine in is about $800. That's almost the roller cam paid for itself. Then a good set of roller lifters is about $1,400 or so with a link bar, like some Johnson or some like Morel lifters or the good comp ones. But
for me, the biggest aspect is the security. You cannot put a price on security with your motor. You want your motor to live. To not have the risk of a cam wiping and that metal paste going all through the motor, settling on the bearings, and you can clean it out, change the oil. Once you wipe the cam in the motor, that motor's got that
smoked. It's got to come apart and be redone.
Like I'll never think of the motor the same, guys. To go in the roller, that insurance, that security of the motor is such an investment, guys. You can let it idle with not a worry in the world. You can let it idle all day. Flat tappet cams, do not let them idle. Don't get carried away. If you let them idle too much, you'll hurt the engine.
The oil thins out eventually at one point when an engine gets hot sitting stationary. When that oil thins out, the temperature will start to spike. If you're not paying attention to the gauge, once you see it a bit hot and you try and turn it off, it can be too late. And Clevos are very primitive technology. When they invented these engines, there was no traffic. These things are like 55 years old now. With the traffic and the road conditions of today, you have to be mindful driving something old. If you've got $15,000 or $16,000 tied up in an engine with all of the parts and the traffic comes to a standstill and the gauge starts to go, you have to put your pride aside and turn the car off and pull over, because people can't afford to build engines as quickly as you can come unstuck these days. And it's not necessarily your car and how good it is, it's everything else that's going on. Infrastructure, traffic, people breaking down, accidents.
Because Cleveland's have a slight inferior oiling system to the Windsors, the one way to leak that is the roller cam. Then you got not a worry. That's it.
Alright, these crows are really pissing me off here. We'll have to go for a bit of a test drive, guys. We'll get home and we'll get a few scenes.
Aesthetically, it looks sweet. I'm so happy with the visual of the engine. Before, when you popped the bonnet, it was like there was nothing, guys. It was just completely original, real dirty, nothing going on.
Alright, guys. she's done. About to get it out for a test drive. There'll be a bit of paint and stuff burning off when you first turn on a new engine. This engine's just been fully rebuilt with the big roller cam. That's sweet. Listen to it. This is what it's going to sound like in the cab. Nice temperature. Oil pressure nice and high. Nice. Quite a bit of fuel. Beautiful.
Now, he popped the bonnet, man. The truck driver went past before. He was like hanging his head out. He was like, oh yeah, a bit of a muscle car there, eh?
Yeah, we just went and got some Maccas and there was these guys on a building site next door yelling out, shit, it sounds alright. They're like, what's in it? What's been done? And they go, what's one of those for it?
They don't want to know. Yeah. Big bucks, guys. Car like
Big
this.
bucks. This is not a car for just anyone.
Them. There's not a price. You can't put a price on cars like this.
Well, we had the engine out and got it built. The guy actually sent the truck off to a panel shop and had it fully painted. Back in candy apple red. Got new graphics put on. Had a tiny little bit of rust in one of the front guards fixed up. And actually not the front guard, the radiator support panel. The spare wheel is not back on yet, that's still getting restored. But yeah, absolute beauty. Still running the stock exhaust manifolds. Luckily they've got a bigger outlet diameter than the Cleveland ones. It's very nice. Alrighty, let's go for a drive.
Sweet, let's go.
There's so many positives of the roller cam, guys. One of the positives is when you turn on a flat tappet camshaft for the first time, you have to do that 2,500 revs, and it can actually piss off neighbours and upset people if you live in a small sort of quiet area. And a lot of people love the lumpy cams, the cams that go bang bang bang, like if you go back on the Clevo King video, the thumper cam on that XR. But those thumper cams that make the good noise, it comes at the expense of performance. Massive amount of performance. This roller cam here, this 284 HR, will probably make 60 horsepower more at the flywheel with a smoother idle than the equivalent thumper would with the same lift. But the thumper will sound great. It just won't have it in it. So anyway, that's my 2 cents. Easy working on these big trucks, guys. It's nice to finally have the job done and to be able to take it out for a drive.
It's actually exactly what I was just thinking. The hard work comes with the good work too, guys. We always enjoy the road tests.
The new C6 is holding gear real good all the way until you back off. Like if I wanted to just keep planting it then, real nice.
It's
so
great, man.
exciting. I can't believe it. It's like totally, wow.
It's got a nice crisp idle.
You were giving it so much before with the 2-barrel. Oh, it had an extremely strange timing chain in it. Really bad, which wouldn't let me healthy. Touching the throttle.
And it's going
faster. Uncle throttle, look at this. Way faster than it was. I'm gonna get a speeding ticket, look, that's already like 100.
It feels great, man. It's beautiful.
It smells nice too. Every now and then you build an engine and it's got a funny sort of a sweet smell from the exhaust. This one smells really good.
Just that security, guys, that peace of mind now having the roller. You could just enjoy this thing and never have that worry of it idling too slow. A lot of guys, they kind of a bit numb to it and they leave their car idling and you hear it, you go, guys, that's getting a bit slow there, that's in cam wiping territory, shut it off. This thing, you never have to worry about that.
Just touch that throttle and it's straight back on. Nothing.
It's just smooth, effortless.
Wow.
It's just going forward like.
Incredible.
Just moving. I'll watch out at you. There's always a few real dodgy truck drivers.
What the truck have stopped there for?
Beautiful. Oh, that's nice.
Kick back on a turn.
Yep. Check for the car's turning. Oh my goodness, I cannot fucking believe that guy just turned in front of them.
Fucking hell.
It's going nice, man. It's just moving, effortless. Before you could hear there was a lot of engine noise to even get the thing to move. Now it's just moving along like it's what the roller cams do.
Now it's so smooth.
Beautiful.
This is fully the stock, it's the OG exhaust manifolds and system with like a 40-inch muffler onto the back. We'll have to show you the muffler. That other Bronco that we did had a set of extractors with a twin system with hot dogs, so it sounded louder. We fitted a different cam. That one ended up being the Thumper, I think it's the 297 hydraulic roller, like the bigger of the two. And this one is the XE284 HR. It's about 565, 585 lift. Real good, real nice. This came in a Cleveland with closed chamber heads, would be making 450 horsepower very easily. Yeah, see? Man.
It's nice when you always get a couple of compliments here and there. Yeah, she's going sweet. I love the sound of it, bro. The idle, it's just got that crisp where you can like hear the cylinders.
It's insane. With old cars like this, guys, it never ends. There's always more to be done, things that can be fixed, refined. So the best thing about if someone wants to get an engine built by us, we have aftercare. If something goes wrong, if a fuel pump shits itself, or you have some power steering leak, or even something we didn't even touch or have anything to do with, we're going to make it our priority to get out there and fix it. A lot of engine builders just concentrate on engine building. They don't have time for mechanical stuff. And if something goes wrong, you're left on your own. They want you to get the engine out, take it back to them. There's no aftercare. Anyway, enough talking. Let's enjoy the drive. This thing's insane.
I love it,
There's
bro.
not even anywhere enough to give it. I've got to like get it out on the highway. You
Can't wipe that smile off my face, guys.
Yeah,
I can't
it's
believe
insane.
it. I'm like a full Bronco fan now, huh? I love it.
Oh, one of the big things that I completely forgot before, guys. Stainless steel valve upgrade. Single groove. It's a little bit expensive. You've got to get new seats. You may as well get all your guides and everything done when you're building an engine anyway. But stainless steel valves was something we've done here with the closed chamber heads. I'll have to work a photo in. They were a piece of art. The heads on this thing are insane. Little bit overkill with the back screen, but gotta slow down already. Is around a bit.
I love it, man. I love it. It was well worth it. There was a few parts that were really difficult, but the hard work always pays off with awesome results. So a little second gear pull, guys. Just a little second gear pull for the boys. Nice. It's throwing the body around like it's just a little car, eh? So it feels quite nimble now.